Welcome again to another show of the plain word of God. Um, we have our service at 426 South Bridge Street, Auburn, Massachusetts. We look forward to have you join us 1 week. We have service every other week. And certainly what we do, we go through the scriptures. We build on the knowledge that God has given us. And therefore, we ask persons if they want to, they can come in and sit in with us. Ask any questions you like. We are there to offer an answer if you so desire. But my topic today that I'm going to look on is the action of faith. The action of faith. And there are three types of faith. There are doctrinal faith. A doctrinal faith, how I describe a doctrinal faith, is when you can use all the scriptures, find all the scriptures in the Bible to talk about doctrine, that talks about doctrine. So we can clearly decipher the scriptures to decipher the doctrinal faith. And doctrinal faith is just head knowledge, just something you can pick out from the top of your head. But when the real life test comes, you blame God for things that is not going right. Why did my family member die? Why this? Why that? How God could do something like this? That is doctrinal. That is when we are not applying true faith to ourselves and to our beliefs. So that is doctrinal faith. When we can use the Bible we can use the Bible, use the scriptures to give a doctrinal account of what faith is and how faith should work. Then we have robotic faith. Robotic faith is when a person robotically believes in God and believes that God will supply their needs, but there's no attachment, there's no emotion, there's nothing in it for them. They believe in themselves that something is there, but the faith is only robotic. It's like a double-minded man, unstable in all the ways, the scripture says. It does not have any connection with God. It's just robotic, just like a robot. You program it and it goes until you start pushing those buttons, until you turn off the light or whatever. It goes nowhere. That's a robotic faith. It does anything. It does nothing. But there's a faith that we need to have, which is the spiritual faith. That is an active faith that gives true results. An active faith is just, remember when you're in school and you have your first girlfriend or boyfriend. Remember how you felt about seeing that person. You couldn't wait to get to school the next day. You couldn't wait to see the person. You couldn't wait to talk to the person on the phone. You talk for hours on the phone. That is how active faith works. It's a deep emotional bond with God. And when you have a faith like that, it gives results. A faith that is spiritually connected gives good results. It is emotion. It's an emotion that you feel, not something that happens mechanically, not something that happens from your mind. It is something that happens from your heart. It is something that you give out of yourself. Matthew 15, verse 26. He replied, It is not right. And this is the story with the Canaanite woman. And I'm going to show you in each of these scriptures that I'm reading, you will decipher for yourself. Robotic faith, doctrinal faith, robotic faith, and spiritual faith in all of these scriptures. This woman was a Canaanite woman. She lived outside of Israel. She's an outsider to Israel. She's an outsider to the God of Israel. She's an outsider to even Jesus Christ himself. Jesus said he did not come to them. He came to his own. Remember the history with the Canaanites. Israel killed the Canaanites. So this woman knew about this history that these Jews have with her ancestors. But she wanted something. She wanted something from this Jew that it is only this Jew that she heard about can offers that. Sometimes I coin this phrase, your mission has to be greater than your self-value. When your self-value comes before your mission, you will give up. But when your mission is greater than who you are, than yourself, there's no giving up. This has to be done. And that's what I'm saying, is that sometimes some of the things that we want, we have to pursue it, no matter how it feels. No matter how the turmoil that you're feeling inside of you. If you truly desire it, if you truly want it, you have to go for it, despite of how you feel or how other people talk. Remember, even this with same Canaanite woman, Jesus' disciples said to her, send her away. She's calling out behind you. Send her away. Even when this Canaanite woman was calling out to Jesus, Jesus who is the Messiah, Jesus who is the one who came into the world to save the world, did not even answer her. Some of us, when we ask for something and we don't get it right away, we stop asking. And we say that life is unfair. And we stop pursuing what we want. This Canaanite woman did not consider that. She knows what she wants, and she's going to pursue it. I am saying that if you have something in mind that you want, pursue it. Don't give up. The road will be rocky, but don't give up. Don't give up. Continue on the path. Use the spiritual faith to receive what you want. Matthew 15:26. He replied, "It is not right to take the children's bread and toss it to the dogs." Many of us, when we have one roadblock, we give up. When we have one thing that goes against us, we give up. We say we can't bother. It is too hard. It's too much. But this woman wanted her child to be healed. And no matter what they say are the amount of obstacles that they put in her way, or the embarrassment that she faced, she knows what she wants. Her mission was greater than her self-value. Her mission was that her child has to be healed. And this is the man that can do it. And no matter what he say or does, he is going to do it. Active faith, they always demand action. In a robotic faith, once Jesus said, "Dog, the robotic faith, go away, give up, stop." The doctrinal faith would say, "Oh, you're feisty and rude. How dare you? Do you know who I am?" And reload qualification and credentials. But spiritual faith never does that. Spiritual faith pursues with action. It pursues with action. It's a faith of feelings. It's a faith of hope. Hear what the response of this Canaanite woman was. And you know, sometimes when I think about Christianity and people in the world, is that sometimes when you just imagine if one of us, somebody in our family or somebody at church say something like rude to us, we give up, we go home, we pack up. I remember one time, I was a teenager, and I served in the youth ministry, and with me and Stacy and Kushni, we built the youth ministry. It started out from just two of us. We built that ministry. Let it be a vibrant ministry within the church. And as the ministry grows, I realize that I have I know there's two ministries that I have to serve, the youth ministry and the church. And the church ends up winning. These persons went aside and write 32 things that was wrong with me. And they are church Christian people. Some of them were baptized, as I was. And they did not even come to me and talk to me about it. They just had written it down in a letter form and gave it to me. I thought that I was receiving something good. In the letter, they're going to talk good about me because of how I am doing and so on. So my mind was puffed up thinking about that. But when I opened the letter and it says 33 things that is wrong with Solomon, I broke down. I didn't know how to get up back. I spent 1 week saying to myself, I will never go back to church. This is my last Sabbath. I'm not going back. I'm done. I'm done. And throughout the week, I am a normally talkative person. Throughout that week, I have no discussion with anyone. I was just home. I went to work, come home, and that's it. Nothing else. Nothing else. Throughout the week, it was just to and from. And I was saying to that, I'm not going to church because these people insult me and embarrass me. How dare they do such a thing like that? But you know, on the Friday before the Sabbath, I hear a song on the radio. I just cannot give up now. And then when I heard that song, thing is that I can't just give up now. Come too far from where I've started from. Nobody told me that the road would be easy, and I don't believe you brought me this far to leave me. Those words struck deeply in my heart. I said to myself, I am not giving up. I'm going on. Yes, I had it in my mind to give up, but I'm not giving up. I went back to church and I served those people harder than I served them before. I served them more than I ever served them before. That is an experience. Something happened to me and I did not give up. I almost gave up, but I did not give up. What are you going through that you're saying that you need to give up? Don't give up. Your light of day is coming. Your victory is near. But you have to stay the course. It is a bumpy road. It's a rocky road. But you have to stay the course if you want to see the outcome of your faith. We continue of Matthew 15 verse 28. Then Jesus said to her, hear what her reply was. She said, even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from the master's table. Then Jesus said to her, woman, what great faith! What great faith! Your request is granted, and your daughter is healed from this moment. If we don't stay the course, we'll not get the victory. If we don't stay on the path, we'll not see the reward and the benefits that we ought to see. I was reading a book, I don't know if it's Les Brown, Zig Ziglar. I was reading one of those motivational books, and there was this guy, he was searching for diamond on his farm. And he was searching for diamond, but he couldn't find the diamond. Couldn't find the diamond. Couldn't find anything. And then he sold the land that he had to buy another piece of land, hoping that he would find diamond in it or something. Then this other guy who bought the piece of land, carrying some expert to find out where the thing is, the diamond is, or the gold, or whatever the story. And the guy found gold and became rich, while he still in debt. He sold his wealth for no wealth. Sometimes we give up so quickly and not realizing how wealthy we could become. Sometimes we make our problem and our despair get us down that we never get up back from it. This woman got up from the embarrassment of Jesus calling her a dog, of the Israelites killing her ancestors, of the disciples of Christ running her away. She went through all of that so that she can get her reward. What is the reward that you want in your life that you're almost ready to give up on? I would say to you, don't give up. Hold on. Stay fast. Because tomorrow is not today. And tomorrow will be better than today. All we have to do is just trust and have faith that God will provide our needs. Another topic of faith, the centurion in Matthew 8 verse 5. The centurion replied, Lord, I do not deserve to have you come in under my roof, but just say the words, and my servant will be healed. For I myself am a man under authority, with soldiers under me. I tell this one, go, and he goes, and that one comes, and he comes. And I say to my servant, do this, and he does it. Then when Jesus heard this, he was amazed and said to those following him, truly I tell you, I have not found anyone in Israel with such faith. The word Israel, he has not found anyone in Israel with such faith. Because Israel's faith is robotic, it's doctrinal. They know the law more than anybody else. If you look even today, if you go to any synagogue or anywhere, they would be reading the law of the Torah. And I certainly myself cannot decipher all the laws of Moses as well as they can. So their faith is doctrinal. And that's why they can't have this belief in Jesus Christ. Because their faith is not based on spiritual active faith. Their faith is dependent on the words. Just words. Their faith is dependent on their pronunciation of how they can decipher and pronounce the law of faith. But they never use the law of faith. It never moved from the robotic stage to the spiritual stage. Because faith is a development. You come to faith by understanding what the doctrine about faith is. You move from the doctrine of faith, which is just knowing, to understand the roboticness of faith. Then you come to the roboticness of faith, you move on to the spiritual enactment of faith. It's a constant process. It's a constant evolution. It never stops. Just as though when you're in kindergarten and you see the girl you love, or the boy she loves. It's like butterflies in the tummy. That's active faith. That is faith that is based on emotion and love for someone or something greater than yourself. We need to have spiritual faith, not robotic faith. Hebrews 11 verse 6 said, and without faith it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to God must believe that he exists and that he is a reward of those who diligently seek him. If we want something from the God who gives, we have to believe that he exists. We have to believe that he is. We have to believe that there's something greater than us. You know, one of the things I come to realize, and in my faith, some of our people in our faith really ridicule and mock them, which I believe that is utterly wrong. Motivational speakers and persons who preach like Joyce Myers, Joel Austin and others, T.D. Jakes, Clifford and others, they preach a doctrine. Yeah, the doctrine is one-sided. The idea is one-sided. That if you believe, you can get a reward, you can get a blessing. But if you notice what they do, they say plant a seed. So it's not, is what they're really doing is bolstering your faith in belief. So your faith is not coming from you genetically, right? It is coming from money that you give or something that you give, because these people know that it is out of you giving something, and they believe in what you give. They know that is out of that you will get the result. So they tell you to give something. But if you believe deeply in your heart, emotionally, that you will receive what you ask for, because God gives good gift, you will get it by faith. God is not a God that is unjust. And I say to persons in my church, sometimes if we just adopt some of the things that they are saying, but say it correctly, we would empower our people more. And they would not become disillusional when problems hit them. They would understand that they need, at this time, when things are rocky, when the road is not straight, when the road is bumpy, when the ship is tossing back and forth, when the emotions in your body is all over the place, this is the time you need to act and build on the power of spiritual faith. Because faith really takes hold of you when you connect with it emotionally. You cannot, it's like persons says to females, or a female said to a man, I love you. But genuinely in their heart, they only saying the words. And they only saying the words because they have an ulterior motive to get something. So they say, oh, I'm going to say that I love her or I love him, so that he or she can have an emotional connection with me, so that I can get what I want. Purely robotic. It's only there. It's just to get something. As long as the power is applied to the robot, it moves. Once the power is severed, it stops. Once that person gets what they need, it's done. It's done. They don't need to do anything more. I've gotten what I receive. But faith don't work like that. Faith is a continuous process that you have to continue, so that the result that you have received will continue. But we have to believe that God exists. We have to believe that the one who provides everything and who opened the storehouse of heaven exists. We have to have a spiritual faith that is actively working. Faith is not a stagnant thing. It's a continuous process of work. Let me show you three types. Let me show you the type of faith that is doctrinal, robotic. Those are the faith that we do not want. Those are the faith that we do not want. And I can show you some examples of those type of faith. The robotic faith, the doctrinal faith. And I have said to you before, look and decipher for yourself, where is the robotic faith and where is the doctrinal faith, and where is the active faith in these scriptures that I'm quoting to you. Matthew 19 verse 16. Just then a man came up to Jesus and asked, Teacher, what good thing must I do? And if you listen to this man, he sounds very bossy. What good thing must I do to get eternal life? Jesus said to him, Why do you ask me about what is good? Jesus replied, There is only one who is good. So Jesus is saying that none of us, only one that is good, and that is God. If you want to enter eternal life, if you want to enter life, keep the commandments. He boasts, which one? And sometimes that is how doctrinal faith works, you, you know the things, so you are doing, so you feel that you are doing so well that the person who you're talking to can't, you feel that if you are so justified in your action that the person can't come up with anything to show you that you are doing something wrong. Because you know it from your head. You know it from your head. It is solid. It is in your head. You know it. So he asks, which one? Because obviously I'm doing all of them. He inquired. Jesus replied, thou shalt not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not give false testimony. Honor your father and your mother, and love your neighbor as yourself. Boastfully. Watch this. Verse 20. All these I have been keeping. So he boasts about all these stuff that he has been keeping. He's doing a good job of keeping the law. He's doing a good job of being a good student of the law. He's doing a good job by carrying out the deeds of the law, by being robotic, by being doctrinal in faith. Here happened now further. The young man said, What do I still lack? So he feels now he catch Jesus in a position because I have been doing all of these things, so therefore I have lacked nothing. So you can't blame me, good master. Because I am perfect in keeping the law. I'm perfect in keeping the law of faith. I'm perfect in understanding the doctrine of faith. I am perfect. Are you? Hear what Jesus said to him in verse 21. Jesus answered, if you want to be perfect, go sell your possession and give it to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven. The young man treasure in heaven, and then come and follow me. When the young man had heard this, he went away and sad because he had great wealth. When our faith is dependent on only what we need, and it is only doctrinal and it's robotic, we cannot do what Jesus wants us to do, and we can't see the benefit. We cannot see the benefit and the result of the faith that we of the faith. Because here, he said he was doing fine, but when Jesus said, "Sell everything you have and follow me," he couldn't exercise that faith, that active faith, to believe that Jesus can provide. God will provide for him. He looked at Jesus and his disciples. These guys are wearing sandals. My wealth is greater than that. I cannot be like that. I can't be embarrassed. I am a billionaire. How now I'm going to walk around like a beggar? See, faith demands emotions. Active faith demands that you would constantly do something to maintain it. Active faith, active spiritual faith, it is doing the unnatural things, the things that people don't even expect to. Imagine if this man had sold everything he had and followed Jesus. Jesus would said, I have not found such faith in all of Israel. But when our faith is just doctrinal and robotic, we will never get to the point of spiritual active faith. We have to get to the point of spiritual active faith. Our faith has to play out in the real world. Not in books, in the Bible, because everybody read the Bible. Bill Gates would tell you that he reads the Bible. Warren Buffett and all these guys would tell you that they have read the Bible. The best stories you can find are in the Bible. The best drama you can find is in the Bible. Right? You're talking about soap opera. You have a lot of soap operas in the Bible. Right? You have a lot of soap opera. You want to become rich? Go to the Bible. You want to be a good spiritual leader? Go to the Bible. You want to be a good person? Go to the Bible. The Bible have so many tools to teach us how to be successful and teach us how to have a faith and a belief. But sometimes some of us, we don't go to the source that we need to go to in order to activate the faith of want. Sometimes we have to attract in our life things that we want, and we can't do that without faith. We can't do it without faith. Faith is a driving tool for the law of attraction. You can't, when you ask for something, you have to believe that God will give it to you. And you know what I said to my friends in our church? I said, see, the Bible said, rain fall on the just and the unjust. If you take me or any good Christian who believe that they are good, and the rain is falling, and you take the worstest of killer or murderer, and you put both of us out there in the rain, not because I am righteous means that there's no rain gonna fall on me. Rain is gonna fall on me just as how it fall on the murderer. Rain fall on the just and the unjust. God give God's gift. It don't even matter who you are, because the Canaanite woman is not a part of Israel. And Jesus said, what great faith you have. I've not seen this among the robotic people. Those who believe only with their lips and their heart is far from me. You have greater faith. And she's not an Israelite. The centurion, a Roman soldier, believed only in the words of Jesus Christ and said, I believe if you say it, it will happen. And Jesus commended him for his faith. But what did he say about the Israelite? He went to a town and tried to do some miracle and he couldn't do anything because there's no faith. Their faith is based on their faith is based on doctrine. Their faith is robotic. Jesus even one time said, a prophet has no honor in his own town. No one believes in him. And what the scripture says, you have to believe in Jesus Christ. But none of them believe. And that's our greatest problem. We do not believe. When we ask for something, we doubt about it getting it. It's like you're praying to receive something, but in your subconscious mind, you're doubting if you will get it. Stop doubting. Believe that you will get it. Use active spiritual faith to get what you want. Move away from the robotic faith. Move away from the head knowledge of faith. Move into the emotional connection with faith that you should have. A child and a mother. The child is in the mother's tummy. There's a connection between the child. The child feels what the mother feels through what? The connection that they have. A mother would know if something wrong with her child, and that child is not in the present. She feels it because there's a connection between that child and her. The father may ask, "What is the problem?" And she said, "Something is wrong. I don't know exactly what it is, but I know something is wrong with Tommy or Angie. Something is wrong." And they call, and when they call, they realize something is wrong. It's a connection. So whoever you are, Christian or non-Christian, if you have that active spiritual faith and have that connection with God, you will see result. Rain fall on the unjust and the unjust. The just and the unjust. God does not show favoritism. No matter where. Because you know what? All of us are God's children, and He gives good gifts to His children. Therefore, if we want to receive that good gift, we cannot doubt. We cannot be a man or a woman with a double-minded thinking. We can't be double-minded in what we want. We have to be precise. That whatever we want, by faith we will receive it. And we cannot doubt. We cannot doubt when the storms are blowing. That is when we act out the active faith. When the storms are whirling around us. When everything looks chaotic. Is a test to see if how strong your faith is and if you really, really desire this. God does not give us things that we don't deserve. Whatever we want, whatever you deserve, He will give it to you. We're saying to some people that, you know, sometimes it's not what we want, it's but what we need. Some of the things that we want, we can do without. Because some of the things that we want is out of envy, malice. You see somebody, your next door neighbor, do some renovation to their house. Likewise, you're envy, you want to do the same thing. Not because you have to do it. It's just because you want to do it. Not because it's a must. Not because it is a must. Not because it is a must. But it's because you want to look as they look. You want to prove to everybody that you want. And then when you bring yourself in our financial difficulties, you are now saying how God could allow this to happen. It's not how God allowed this to happen, it's how you allow it to happen. Sometimes what we want is not what we need. We have to know what we need to get it. And God is not going to give us something that we just want. Just like a toy, you give a child a toy. My son, he wanted this drone and he was so excited to get the drone. He wanted the drone. And I was saying to him, you don't need to get that. No, he said he wanted. Finally, I decided I give him the drone. He fly it must be 1 or 2 times and then he put it down. So I said, what happened? Him said, don't feel the same way anymore. I said, really? Really? Right? He saw it on the internet and he wanted it. But he never really needed it because that's not what he really needs. Right? So sometimes we have to know what we need, not what we want. And that is why sometimes our prayers are not being answered because we keep asking for things that we want, that we don't need. Ask what you need. Matthew 17:10 says, he replied, because you have so little faith, truly I tell you, if you have faith like as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing is impossible for God. We just have to believe by faith, without doubt, that we will receive. That we will receive. That we will receive. We cannot doubt on this matter. We cannot doubt. You know, one of the other things is with us as one of the other things is that we don't set goals in our faith path. We don't set goals in our walk. We just casually live our life as we just continue. As we see, we just do things. There's no goal setting. In faith, there has to be goals set in order to achieve the successful faith that you so desire. You have to set goals. Because if we don't set goals, what the little faith that we have will be taken from us. Matthew 25, verse 14. Again, this is a parable about the talents and the master who goes away. So the master now give one servant 5 talents. He give another one 2. And he give another one 1. The servant who got the 5 talent, immediately when the master gone, he started to work on his talent and multiply that talent into 5 more, which is 10. Then the second one who got 2 did the same thing. The man with the 1, he buried it and covered it up and just sitting there waiting for the master to come back. Not even using faith as a mean to use a 1 talent to gain something. So the master finally comes back now after his long journey. And the master called them to go up and said, let me see what you have. One with got the 5 talents was excited. Hi, you gave me 5 talents. And I multiplied with 5 more. Here you go. Here you go. God give him more. The one with the 2 was the same thing. He got more. The one now with the 1 talent, with the 1 dege talent, he said, I think verse 21, his master replied, well done, go down. Then the man who had received the 1 bag of gold came. Master, he said, I know that you are a hard man. If you know that the man is a hard man, why you take it? Why did you take it? Didn't you know that before? Harvesting where you have not sown. Rude. And gazing where you have not scattered seed. So I was afraid. You're not afraid, it's laziness. Some of us don't want to work. We don't want to work on our talent. So we just become, we're lazy. We don't want to work on our faith. So we become lazy and do nothing. I was saying to my friends, the people who exercise the most greatest of faith is those persons who are on the street side of the road with a sign said, I am homeless. Please help me. It takes great faith to do that, because it's in their faith to believe that someone out of these thousands of cars will pass. They believe that one person will stop and give them $1. Sometimes we have to have faith like that in our sense. I'm not telling you to go out on the street, but we have to have that strong conviction that 1,000,000 things can happen to us, but that one thing that we really desire will happen, will come true. But we have to have that strong faith. We have to believe. This man said that he sowed where he did not. He sowed where he did not plant and reap and all these things. But one of the things with that story is that if we don't exercise our faith, we will lose it. And many Christians are in the church and they have no faith. And I tell you, I was a part of that. But when I start to understand how faith works, I let go of myself and allow God to do the rest. And I see how by exercising faith that God comes through for me. We are here in Worcester, starting our church. Remember, this young man came in because I think that this concept is that person believe that once you go to church, you should give an offering. My church does not do that. The church organization that I'm a part of don't do that, which is the CGI, Church of God International. And it was giving us offering. I said, no, we don't accept offering. Don't do that. You come to be fed. What we have to give you is the word of God. That is what we give. We don't ask you for anything. Right? Later down the road, you decide to follow the spiritual law of God, then that's fine. You decide, and we allow people to make their own decision on that to help the ministry. But right? So your faith has to be active. Abraham's faith is an active faith. God said to Abraham, I want you to sacrifice Isaac. Remember, Abraham was waiting for Isaac for almost, when he was 90, he still not have Isaac yet. And he was waiting on Isaac. And then when Isaac reached probably around 10 or so, I don't know the correct age. The Bible did not say, but I'm just assuming. God said to Abraham, the one promise of Abraham's resurrection. Abraham knew that without him, there's no hope for his resurrection. And God said to Abraham, go and make a sacrifice to me. So Abraham said to God, so what is a sacrifice? A bull, a lamb, a calf, what? Some turtle doves, what? And God said to Abraham, to Abraham's surprise and shock, your son Isaac. Sometimes we have to sacrifice those doubts in our mind regarding faith to get the results that we want. We have to outroot the double-mindedness of thinking about faith. You can't think about faith and doubt at the same time. It don't work. It's like you are like a parent to a child. The child is saying something. He wants something, and the father, the parent, does not know what the child needs. All the parent is trying to find out, what do you need? What do you need? What do you need? The child is not saying anything. As a parent, you get frustrated, and what you do? You just forget the whole matter. You forget the whole matter. You forget the whole matter. So your faith has to be active, and it has to be precise. It has to be. It has to be. It has to be so fortified in your mind that this is what you want, and there's nothing that will stop you from achieving it. Many other things that we are seeing, light, Thomas Edison, Nikola Tesla. I've created these stuff. Imagine when these stuff were being built, how they were ridiculed and mocked. Even the very camera that we use, a laptop, and all that. In my earlier years of studying computer, said that the first computer was like big as this room is. And look what it is now. You can walk around with it in your palm of your hands. It was somebody who believed that they could do it that allowed us to have it. If that person had given up, it would take a longer time for somebody else to come to develop on it. Because all the things that we have are development of what somebody else has created. Solomon said there's nothing new under the sun. These things are development of a creation that of somebody who say, I am not going to give up. I believe in myself. I believe I can do it. And that is some of the things that we have to do. We have to believe in ourselves. We have to do self-development, self-evaluation, to see where we are, to see where our faith is. Is it doctrinal? Is it robotic? Is it a spiritual faith we're building? You have to set goals in testing where your faith is. You have to set goals and pursue those goals so that you can achieve what you want. If you have faith as a mustard seed, you can move mountain. If you do not build your faith, if you are lazy, if we are lazy in building our faith, we'll not see the result that we want. We have to constantly work on ourselves. Go take out the noise in our heads of the noise of doubt, the noise of doubt and despair, the noise of unbelief, the noise of our pain and the circumstances. We have to get out our head those ideas and what people say to us so that we can achieve what we want. We have to go deep in ourselves to get what we need. Because if we don't work on our spiritual faith, we will lose it. We will lose it. I used to use Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel. I now use only Microsoft Word. I can't remember some of the formula in Excel. I have to ask how to the equal sum the other day. I didn't remember that I have to say equal sum, the column, then the row to get the figure. I didn't even remember because I've not used it so long. So whatever you are not using, you will lose it. So if you have to build your faith. Use your faith always so that you can always be building on it. In the same Matthew 5 verse 26. Matthew 25 verse 26. It says, his master replied, you wicked and lazy servant. So you know that I harvest where I have not sown, and I gain where I have not scattered seed. Well then, you should have put my money on this, put my money and deposit it in the bank, so that when I return, at least I would have received it back with interest. If we are not using our faith, we cannot get any interest back. There will be no interest on our faith. So we have to constantly acting out our active faith, so that we can get a result, so that we do not lose what we have. Verse 28 says, so take this bag of gold, take the bag of gold from him. Take the bag of gold from him and give it to the one who has 10 bags. For whoever has will, for whosoever has will be given more, and they will have an abundance. Whosoever does not have, even that they have will be taken from them. No, throw that worthless servant outside into the darkness, where there will be gnashing and so on. That is it. If we don't sow the seed of talent, if we don't sow the seed of faith, we'll not get any result. Are you going to sow the seed of faith, so that when you ask for something that you need, you will receive it? Are you just sitting down, waiting for something to happen, and not using active spiritual faith to gain what you want? Let us not be double-minded in what we think. Let us get the noise out of our heads. Let us get the people that say that we can't. Be like that Canaanite woman that the disciple says, run her away, that Jesus called her a dog. But yet still, she went on to receive her blessing and her healing. Do you want healing? You have to believe by faith that you will be healed. Do you want a blessing in your life? Whatever blessing that is, you have to believe by faith that you will receive it. And you cannot doubt, because a double-minded man is stable in all his ways. If you have faith as a mustard seed, you can move mountains. Develop your spiritual active faith, so that you can see genuine result of your faith. You can meet with us at 426 South Bridge Street, Harborne, Massachusetts. We meet every other Sabbath at 12 noon. We look forward to seeing you. We look forward to sit down with you and have a nice discussion anytime about any topic. We look forward to see you. You can go to our website, cgi.org, and you will see literatures and books that we have on many of the topics that we have discussed. I look forward to seeing you. Thank you very much, and I wait again to join you.
Church of God International of Worcester, Massachusetts meets the second and fourth Saturday of each month. Services are held at the Comfort Inn Hotel, located at 426 South Bridge Street, Auburn, Massachusetts.